All right, so we're going to be working on patterns. And before we kind of dive into working with patterns, we need to define some really important vocabulary. Number one, a pattern itself is something that repeats. And a true pattern, kind of the rule of thumb is that a true pattern must repeat at least 3 times. So like if something only happens once, it's not a pattern. If something happens twice, it's kind of like a coincidence, but the third time you can kind of consider it a pattern. A sequence is a series of numbers that follow a rule. And we'll talk about what the rule is in a minute, but it is the rule that repeats 3 times. It's the pattern with the rule that helps to create the sequence. And finally, what is a rule? A rule is basically what is done to one number to make the next number. And a rule can be any of the 4 operations. 2 of our operations, when the rule is applied, will make the numbers get bigger, addition and multiplication. 2 of our operations, subtraction and division, make numbers get smaller, and this is going to be important. Our first video is going to be about finding the rule in a number sequence. So let's say I'm giving you this problem and it says identify the rule in the number sequence. There's a couple of things I need to think about. This in particular is multiple choice, so I know one of those is going to be the correct answer. First thing I'm going to look at is starting at 19, that's the first term in our sequence. You can see that the numbers are getting smaller. They're decreasing. And so right away, I'm going to think, okay, what operations make numbers get smaller? Subtraction and division. So right away, I know this cannot be an addition rule and it cannot be a multiplication rule because those both make numbers get bigger. So now I'm going to decide, starting at 19, in order to get to 17, what's happening? What's going on? And so I know that 19 minus 2 is 17. And again, right now, that's not a rule. It has to repeat 3 times to be a pattern. So I'm going to check. Is 17 minus 2 also 15? Yes, it is. Third time's the charm. Is 15 minus 2 equal to 13? And the answer is yes. So once I see that rule repeating 3 times, I know that subtracting 2 is the correct rule. Let's look at another one. Identifying the rule in this number sequence, starting at 3. 3 is my first term in the sequence. I can see the numbers are getting bigger. They are increasing, which means it's either going to be addition or multiplication, which means right away I can eliminate D. Can't be subtraction. So I'm going to look. Okay, let's try multiplication because I know that 3 times 2 is 6. And at first glance, I might be like, ooh, the answer's A, total winner, winner, chicken dinner. But again, the rule has to repeat 3 times in order for it to be officially the rule. So I'm going to check the next 2 terms. Is 6 times 2 equal to 9? Well, no, 6 times 2 is 12. This cannot be the rule. And so it is not going to be multiplying by 2. So now I'm going to try addition. If it's not multiplication, it's got to be addition. So let's look. 3 plus 3 is 6. I know that. So I'm thinking maybe add 3 is the rule, but it's got to repeat. So let me check. Is 6 plus 3 equal to 9? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is. And is 9 plus 3 more going to get me 12? The answer is yes. So the correct answer here is adding 3 for the rule. A really important thing too is, when you're dealing with multiple choice, you know that the answer is right in front of you. 3 of them are wrong, but 1 of them is right. So you don't have to kind of grasp into thin air to figure out what the answer is. You can use the answer choices as a guide. So if you look at this one, I can see, okay, I know the numbers are increasing, so I know it's going to be addition or multiplication. So we can get rid of the subtraction rule right away. But, I can add anything and multiply anything, but I'm going to use the answer choices as a guide. I'm going to start with answer choice A. Could the rule be multiplied by 2? Well, on a little side sheet of paper, I did 23 times 2, and I got 46, not 35. So I know that it's not going to be times 2, so we are not multiplying by 2. So now I'm going to try add 15. It's the next choice. So I'm going to say, okay, is 23 plus 15 35? Well, I'm not going to try and do this in my head. I'm going to set up on a piece of paper 23 plus 15. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. I get 38. I'm close, but it's not 35. So I know the answer is not add 15. I'm really hoping it's add 12 because otherwise I don't have an answer. But Let me try this. 23 plus 12. Well, 23 plus 12, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 1 is 3. Yep, 23 plus 12 is 35, but I have to test it. Just because it worked once, that doesn't make it a pattern. 35 plus 12. Oh, yep, that's 47. And let's try it one last time. Third time's the charm. 47 plus 12, 2 plus 7 is 9. Yep, that's 59. The correct answer is add 12. So what you're going to do next is there are 3 questions just like this where you need to find the rule. You want to show your work. You want to kind of show that rule and the guide of, okay, I'm going from one term to the next term, and I'm deciding what that action is, what that rule is to do that. And as the directions say, you're going to do the whole front page, 3 questions, and then check in. If you are understanding that, you'll be ready for the next video. So enjoy and good luck.